Are you starting to feel that your relationship has become pointless? You don't feel appreciated, and you're constantly left with an empty, unfulfilling feeling. It may be that it's time for you to walk away, but if everything is visibly fine, how do you pinpoint a reason to break up? What signs should you look out for to seal the deal on your decision? This video is going to guide you toward 10 clear signs that it's time for you to call it quits. But before you do walk away, subscribe to our channel so you have us to help you in your journey to move on. Number 10. She doesn't value your opinions and feelings. Does your partner take a disrespectful tone when addressing your opinions? Does she belittle you when you express your feelings? If your answer to these questions is yes, then it may be time for you to consider leaving. Respect is non-negotiable in any relationship, be it romantic or platonic. If your partner takes a condescending tone towards you, and you always regret putting forward your point of view, that's a clear sign of disrespect. For instance, if you suggested going to watch your favorite movie and she started to trash the idea immediately, then that's disrespectful. There's always a better way to respond to something you don't like if that something holds value for the people you love. In the same way, if you ever express your feelings or emotions related to something that affects you dearly and she never considers them, then it's a sign that she doesn't care about you. She doesn't take your feelings as a valid form of expression. Tolerating this kind of behavior from your partner is not just a sign to leave, but it's also a sign that you need to protect your mental health and self-esteem. Number 9. She doesn't take interest in your life. One of the hardest signs to look for when deciding to call quits is the loss of spark in your relationship. It can manifest in many ways, but if you can feel that her interest in your life has faded away, then it's time to say goodbye. It's hard to come to a definite conclusion on this. However, if your partner has given up on making an effort to be interested in things that mean a lot to you, then it's a clear indication that she doesn't care about you anymore. If she's stopped asking questions about your work, your hobbies, and the time you spend apart from her, then it doesn't matter to her whether you stay in her life or not. It's a sign that the relationship has become one-sided, and staying in such a relationship is draining, both emotionally and physically. You deserve a partner who cares about your life and constantly makes an effort to take an interest in what you do and what you like to do. If your relationship is not providing you with this, then it's time for you to move on. Number 8. You constantly have to worry about what you do. If no one has told you this before, then listen up. Relationships are not supposed to be a place where you constantly have to pretend to be someone else. They're supposed to provide you with peace and comfort, rather than increase your difficulties. If you feel that you're constantly walking on eggshells around her, and every time you say or do something, you're not sure how she's going to react, then take this as a sign that you need to leave. For instance, when you're with her, you feel like there's nothing you can do that would please her. Or when you want to have a conversation with her, you're afraid that she's going to turn it into a fight. All of these instances are clear-cut indications begging you to save your sanity and move on. Number 7. She's untrustworthy. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that she's cheating on you or she's constantly lying to you. This means that you can no longer rely on her for anything. If you find yourself second-guessing her every move and doubting her steps, then it's time for you to distance yourself and assess your happily ever after. Ask yourself, do you feel unsure about being with her forever? Can you trust her with your life? Do you believe everything she tells you? Or do you find yourself thinking that she might be lying? This way, you'll get a crystal clear idea of where your relationship stands. You have to remember that trust is a key component of any relationship, and relationships that don't stand the test of time falter because there's a lack of trust. If you can't rely on her anymore, it's time for you to call it quits. Number 6. She's never encouraging. Do you think you deserve someone who's supportive of what you do? Do you want someone who will encourage you to do your best? Now, if you feel that she never supports you or encourages you to pursue your dreams and passions, then it's a sign that you need to leave. I understand that it's not an easy task to leave someone you love and have stayed with for a long time, but you have to think in terms of cost and benefit. If all you get in return for your cost is dismissal and discouragement, then you're not putting your energy in the right place. Take, for instance, a scenario where you're unhappy with your current job and you're considering switching, but she doesn't even listen to you and immediately tells you to stay where you are, then it's an indication that she doesn't care about your feelings and contentment. She'd rather have you unhappy than support you in doing what's best for you. Your self-confidence will falter if you stay in such a relationship. Number 5. She's physically and verbally abusive. This is a no-brainer. You don't even need to look for any other indications or signs, because staying in a relationship where your partner physically or verbally abuses you is never the right decision. It's time for you to leave and move on to a healthy and comforting life. No one deserves the pain that comes from this kind of behavior. However, many people tend to bear and stay with abusive partners because they don't believe they can do better. But you deserve better, and you deserve to be in a relationship that's a safe haven rather than a pit of hell. For instance, if your partner gets extremely angry during a small fight and starts to throw objects at you and hits you, or if she starts berating you with insults and profane language, you need to close this door. There's no saving this relationship now. Number 4. She only thinks about herself. Has your relationship become a movie for her called Me, Myself, and I? If the answer to this question is a yes, then you know it's a sign to bid farewell. When a relationship becomes completely about one person, then it doesn't stay a relationship anymore. If you find yourself constantly adjusting to her routine and her lifestyle, you need to consider moving out and moving on. It's hard to make a relationship work that's not a relationship anymore. For example, you were planning a special day out with her and you aligned it with her schedule, and she still canceled at the last minute because her friends had to spontaneously meet. It's a sign that you're way below on her priority list. You need to assess her behavior to see if she even cares about your presence in her life, or if this relationship is only about how she feels. If you find that you're the one who's always compromising, and she's showing no change in her behavior towards you and your relationship, take it as a sign to leave. Number 3. She's disloyal to you. When you commit to a relationship, you also commit to being completely open and honest about everything you do. If you find out that she's being unfaithful and she's keeping secrets from you, then it's time to walk away. For instance, if you come home and you don't find her there, and you call her to ask where she is, and she lies to you, then it's a clear sign that she's being disloyal to you. If you find her removing and deleting chats from her social media, then she's hiding something from you that she knows is not right. You need to see if your partner is unwilling to be open and honest with you about who she's hanging out with or where she is. If she's unwilling to tell you, it's a red flag, and you should consider leaving this relationship. No long-term relationship is built on lies. Number 2. She has double standards. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you're expected to do something for her, but if you expect it back, she refuses to do it? That's called having double standards. And if that's the case with your partner, it's time to let her go. A relationship requires a balance between efforts. If you're the one who's always giving your 100%, and whenever you need her to give her 50%, she never does, it's difficult to keep this kind of relationship healthy. You're the only one who's held accountable for his behavior, and when it comes to her, there's always a fight. If you constantly feel like you're being held to a standard that she can't even meet herself, you need to move on. Number 1. You are unhappy. It's true that you need to be happy single if you want to be happy in a relationship. But if your relationship is the one thing that's making you unhappy, then it's time to cut it off. You can't search for happiness by staying in a situation that's sucking the happiness out of you. When you realize that your current relationship is leaving you unfulfilled, and you still stay in it, your emotional well-being is going to be disturbed. You need to pay attention to the signs your body gives you when you're with her. If you don't feel attracted, and you seem to lack enthusiasm about her, it's better to walk away than feed your unhappiness. It's always worth it. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and comment your thoughts down below. Thanks for watching.